Tens of thousands of people, nearly the entire population of Greenland, just took to the streets. This isn't your typical protest. Why? Because the United States is threatening to invade Greenland, and it's not just a minor issue. This is a historic moment, one of the largest protests Greenland has ever seen. The world is watching, and the stakes couldn't be higher. What's really going on? Why would the U.S. even consider this? Global peace? The future of an entire region? Or is it something far darker that's unfolding? Stick around, because by the end, you'll see just how deep this story goes, and you won't believe where it's heading next. This isn't just about Greenland's future. It's a battle for the control of a strategic landmass, a tug-of-war between superpowers. Greenland, with its vast natural resources and strategic position, has become a key target in a global game of geopolitical chess. But what's raising alarms now isn't just the threat of military force. It's the way this has escalated, right from the streets of Greenland to global trade wars. As protesters fill the streets of Nuuk, the world watches. But the question remains, why is the U.S. so desperate for Greenland? And why are so many nations, from Denmark to Canada to France, rushing to its defense? This goes far beyond a simple land dispute. We're talking about a global shift in power, one that's unfolding before our eyes. Donald Trump's response to all of this? A social media storm. He didn't just stay quiet, he lashed out. The President of the United States made it clear, if any country tries to defend Greenland, he will hit them with massive tariffs. 10% on February 1st, then 25% on June 1st, unless they give in to his demands. But here's the twist. Trump's attack wasn't just on Greenland. He targeted entire European countries, Denmark, France, Germany, Norway, Sweden, the UK, countries that are now rallying to defend Greenland, ready to face a standoff with the U.S. And here's the kicker. Trump's claimed that the U.S. has been subsidizing these countries for centuries, and that now it's time for them to give back. But here's what he's ignoring. Greenland isn't just some piece of land up for grabs. It's a geopolitical pivot point. The fight for it isn't just about resources. It's about global power. Notice what he's not saying, how he's entirely dismissing NATO's security guarantees. This is bigger than tariffs. This is about global alliances and a dangerously escalating situation. As the situation intensifies, it's clear this isn't just a diplomatic spat. This is quickly turning into a global standoff. Trump's rhetoric isn't isolated. It mirrors the kind of dangerous political posturing that we've seen in history, when leaders pushed for control over key territories to solidify their power. But here's where it gets even more troubling: the normalization of these extreme tactics. Threatening tariffs, undermining international agreements, and openly challenging the sovereignty of an entire nation. This isn't typical political maneuvering. It's a tactic that signals a breakdown of established norms. The world should be outraged. The invasion of Greenland by the United States isn't just a theoretical scenario. It's something that could trigger a chain reaction of international conflict and possibly war. If Trump's rhetoric continues unchecked, this could very well lead to the unraveling of decades of global cooperation. And this is only the beginning. But it doesn't stop with threats of tariffs. Trump's latest comments are even more alarming. He went on record declaring that Greenland's sovereignty could be up for grabs, with the U.S. potentially taking control. He says Greenland is vital for global security, with the Golden Dome defense system being the key. Yet here's the glaring contradiction. The U.S. isn't in danger of losing Greenland to China or Russia. This is all about Trump's personal push for power and influence. And then Trump goes even further, mocking Greenland's current defense capabilities. He ridicules their reliance on a few dog sleds for protection. But in reality, Greenland isn't alone. It's protected by NATO, and any attack on Greenland would trigger Article 5, an agreement that would force NATO nations to defend it, including the U.S. The irony? Trump has spent years undermining NATO. So when he talks about defending global peace, it's hard not to question, who exactly is he protecting and from whom? This isn't about security, it's about control. The pressure's mounting, and now we're seeing a rapid escalation. Trump's latest remarks about Greenland being part of a national security strategy are unsettling. He's framing this as a critical, non-negotiable issue. But as countries continue to push back, the situation is spiraling out of control. NATO allies are standing firm, stating clearly that an attack on Greenland would be met with a unified response. Meanwhile, we have international leaders, Prime Minister Carney, for example, warning that this could lead to a war with the U.S. if things go too far. And if this wasn't already enough, Trump's rhetoric is escalating even further. He's now targeting the very countries that are coming to Greenland's aid with economic warfare. More tariffs, more threats. So what happens if this continues? We could see a major split in international alliances. Countries could choose sides, and the fallout could extend far beyond Greenland, affecting global trade, security, and peace. Now let's take a step back and focus on the real people at the heart of this crisis, those living in Greenland. Imagine what it's like to wake up every day knowing your country could be at the center of a geopolitical storm. It's not just about resources or military strategy, it's about people's lives. Greenlanders have made it clear they won't be subjugated. They don't want their land treated like a prize to be claimed. The people you saw protesting in Nuuk, they're not just fighting for their sovereignty. They're fighting for their right to exist freely, without outside interference. The threat from Trump's regime is not just an abstract political move. It's a direct challenge to their identity and their future. "We are real people," one protester said, "living here, and we want to be respected." It's a stark reminder of how power struggles ripple through the lives of ordinary citizens. If this conflict continues, it won't just be a matter of political fallout. It will impact families, communities, and entire generations. Now, let's zoom out and look at the broader picture. Why is this happening? Why does Greenland matter so much, not just to the U.S., but to global powers? The truth is, Greenland's geopolitical significance has been growing for years. With its vast natural resources, strategic location near the Arctic, and its role in global defense systems, it's become a high-value asset. But this conflict isn't just about land, it's about leverage. Countries like Denmark and Canada have a vested interest in ensuring Greenland's sovereignty because it's tied to their own security and economic future. Trump's strategy is clear. He's using threats of military action, economic sanctions, and geopolitical pressure to force his hand, all under the guise of national security. The underlying mechanism: fear of losing control, fear of global competition, fear of being left behind. This isn't just a political game, it's a calculated move by powerful players using spectacle to manipulate the global narrative. It's not just about Greenland anymore, it's about who controls the future. So where do we go from here? The situation could take one of two paths. First, there's the possibility of diplomatic negotiations, where cooler heads prevail and both sides reach some form of compromise, an agreement that protects Greenland's sovereignty while satisfying the U.S.'s strategic interests. But the second path is far more dangerous. If the tensions continue to escalate, we could see a total breakdown in international relations, with countries forced to choose sides. NATO could fracture, trade wars could spread, and the world might find itself teetering on the edge of conflict. The key question is whether this will be a slow burn or an all-out crisis. Right now, it's unclear which way this will go, but make no mistake, every move made in the coming weeks will set the stage for the next chapter. The momentum is building, and the first major move could be made any day now. This isn't just a political story, it's a high-stakes game of global chess, and Greenland is the centerpiece. Trump's push for control is shaking international alliances, threatening peace, and could change the course of history. The question remains, will the world allow this kind of aggression to continue, or will nations stand up and draw the line? This could be the moment that defines the future of global power, and the impact will be felt by generations to come. But one thing's for sure, this story is far from over. The next few weeks could be pivotal, and the world is watching closely. Make sure you're following along, because this is just the beginning.